Hi everyone, welcome to my video on The Real Real. A lot of you have been asking me to make this account of my own experiences and how I'm handling them and suggestions and tips I have for you if you are going to consign with them. And many of you have said, how come you're not doing it? And I appreciate your candor and your thoughts on it. And I think the reason is I have taken a position in life, and particularly personal and business, of course, that if you don't have anything nice to say, just be quiet. But I think that it's a disservice to anybody that watches the channel and anybody who's new. So if you're new, welcome. Maybe this video brought in some new folks. It's certainly not about Chanel or a designer. It's about how to keep a company from screwing you, to be honest. And I do have some tips, having worked with them for a while. And so I'll share those and also share my experience with them. And I'll give you some examples. You're going to see screenshots up here of things that have happened to me with The Real Real and ways you can navigate, because they do have some benefit in the marketplace. I believe that. They have benefit to us as sellers who don't have a big reach to get our stuff out, but they have big problems. They have logistics problems. My opinion, okay, everything here is my opinion. I'm not making an accusation against the company. I'm sharing my own personal experience. They're all my own views. And I don't represent anyone else, just myself, my own views. So that said, I guess I will just jump right in. I started consigning with them a few years ago and was assigned a personal consigner to come to my home after a short time. She was awesome, extremely helpful, brought management in when needed. Have had a couple of folks because of turnover or whatever reasons since then, some less than helpful, some better than others, right, with any position. I've also used their get a label from your consigner, just put everything in a box and ship it. And I've used their online tool where you have to put in each item, which is a really bad upgrade. That only helped them, it didn't help us. And I've had a lot of sales over the years, and I've also had a lot of mistakes. And I would say for every 5 sales, there's 1 mistake. So I have to watch them a lot. So let me first share what I think their benefits are in the market and where I think they're falling short. Because those are areas that you need to look out for if you're actually going to use them as a consignment tool. And many of us don't have a huge reach. Even for handbags, we can work with a local consigner, and I'll do that sometimes. And then, I'd rather a person benefit than a big company, particularly stock exchange listed business. But that person may not have the reach either. And you also sometimes just need a faster turnaround. So Fashion File, I think, is great for that. You can put in your merchandise, upload pictures, describe it, and you get a quote back in 3 to 5 days, ship it in. I've gotten money in 3 days, 4 days. Sometimes it's desperately needed when it comes in. Because my day job, I'm a professor, right? I don't have a sugar daddy who's covering all of my expenses. I mean, it's me. So like many of you, I have to do a lot of work to afford luxury goods and make a trade-off between, maybe a few very fashion-forward things from a different designer, or a few staple pieces. And that's what a lot of my videos are about, as those of you who watch my channel know. They're about finding those pieces that will last us a long time, that we're going to want to wear in a few years and make the dollar per wear lower, right? That's my goal when I'm working on those ready-to-wear videos and trying all that crap on in the fitting room. That's what I'm trying for. And I think it's helped many of you, and that feedback has been invaluable. Honestly, it keeps me going because it's not easy to bring in, cameras into the fitting rooms and be trying stuff all the time. And it's knowing I'm helping so many people and doing what I love, right? It's my passion. I have only a few passions in this world of things I really love to do. And fashion's one of them, but never made a living at it and still don't, but it's a way to connect with people and do something you love. So part of that is things get outdated in our closets. We put on a few extra pounds thanks to 7 surgeries. We do various things and, things come and go, right? Or we just need maybe some cash back from the things we purchased, and we don't have that quick ability, particularly with ready-to-wear. Handbags are a little easier to sell, but particularly with ready-to-wear, to get our money back. So insert consignment companies or consigners. Obviously, the people, if they're able to sell ready to wear, individuals I'd much rather work with, but for the most part, they don't have very good luck. So I'll use some of the Facebook groups like the Chanel or Buy Sold Trade or the Hermes Buy Sold Trade. And sometimes I pick up some great deals, and other times I've been able to sell a few things, but it takes a long time. People ask the craziest freaking questions. Can you zoom in on button 4 on the 4th quadrant? It looks like does it have a scratch? And I'm like, what? Like it's been in its garment bag, you know, and I got bigger than the outfit and now I'm selling it and I don't even know what you're talking about. So all of that stuff really sucks to do, okay? And I've been selling on eBay since '98. My own things, I used to do a lot of work in television as a TV commentator. I had a ton of outfits. I'm still going through eBaying all of those. And as my daughter outgrew things, we would donate a lot, we would eBay a lot, you know, and electronics, and just, it's one way, you know, somebody gets a deal and I didn't have to go through a consignor. But it's a lot of work. I would say one listing takes me, to do it right with measurements and great photos and great light, full descriptions, explanation, fabric contents, also probably takes me a good 45 minutes to an hour. Proper photos, which is the hardest part for me. My photos just suck, totally suck. So insert the Real because they do ready to wear. I wish Fashion File did. I would give everything to them because I hate the Real sometimes. And I would say that time's like 98% of the time because I have to babysit them. And if we're hiring a company to help us do something, the last thing we want is to babysit them, but you have to. So let me share a few areas I think they're good and a few areas, well, a lot of areas they really need help. And they're areas that you should be watching for. So some of the benefits, you don't have to put photos up on eBay. You don't have to deal with the return level on eBay. Sometimes people will wear it to an event and then want to return, and they know that your seller rating is going to go down. You want to protect it. Even if you put no returns, eBay will probably side with them. And, you know, it's just not worth the hassle. So we end up accepting the returns anyway. And the process kind of stinks sometimes. So it's a downside to eBay. Plus, you know, people are always looking for a killer bargain and you don't have as big of a reach, in my opinion, on eBay because they're not going there for luxury goods. They're going there for cheap deals for the most part. Sometimes luxury goods, but from my experience, people want a bargain. They want a telescope for $5. They don't want the latest romper from Chanel that you know, didn't wear and you need to liquidate some things. And they're willing to pay $5,000 for it, right? It's a different market. So you don't have to deal with the returns. eBay's a lot harder, right? So Real's pretty easy to work with. And they have a pretty high reach because people are going there for luxury goods. I mean, they're going there for moderate rated goods or level goods too, but mostly for high-end goods. So you have a tuned in audience, right? And there are people that make a living out of finding the Real's mistakes and capitalizing on them, buying the thing really cheap and knowing that it was undervalued by thousands or more sometimes. It's happened to me. I'll give you some examples. And then just flipping it. And good for them for being able to find those bargains. You'll know because your item will get posted. A second later, it's gone. Like no sooner than you see it listed, it's already in the sold category, right? Sometimes I think there's people there that literally just watch it all day, hit refresh. There's people that believe, I don't know if it's true or not, that people actually at the Real do it, that work for them or used to work for them. I don't know if there's any validity to that, but I've heard that rumor. It's just a rumor. It's basically convenience. Now they used to allow us to just ship a box of stuff with one label and not a lot of work. And then they decide what they were willing to list, right? But now you have to select a drop down and put the designer in and what it is and a bunch of nonsense. And it takes a lot longer. Plus they will accept things that are not on their list. Like for example, Cossie, C-O-S-S-I-E swimwear, Theory, Thaskin's Theory, Helmut Lang, James Purse. These are not on their list of items. When I last checked, which was just literally hours before this video, they're not on their list of items, but I have them for sale. Many of you do too, and I see them all over the site, and they will take things that they don't say. They're not going to take Gap and Zara and that kind of stuff, but they will take moderate level stuff depending on their own criteria, or sometimes I think, my opinion, is who gets the box. And it goes through sometimes and not others. I'll send them something and they decline it 3 times, and on the 4th time they put it up, right? So the money is not there for you in that modest level range, like the few $100s or less. The commission structure stinks. when you're dealing with luxury goods and you're a VIP client, you get a kicker of like 5%. Sometimes I've seen 10%. I don't know what's changing that. And then you get a decent percentage, so you're up at like 80%. And that makes it okay sometimes. Now, the fall drawbacks or fall areas of improvement, let's just call it that. They lose your stuff. They've lost, okay, I'll just speak for myself. They have lost so many of my things that I've started tracking my own in a spreadsheet with photos and following up on individual specific items. An example, Louis Vuitton, a little clutch, picked it up in Hawaii a few years ago, found myself never using it, sold it to the Real, and I forgot about that one. It wasn't in my spreadsheet. I just had a brain dead moment. I walked by the Louis Vuitton store at my local mall and saw that handbag, and I'm like, I sold mine to the Real. Whatever happened to that? Went on, it's missing, totally missing. So I texted my relations person, consignment person, so what happened to the mauve colored handbag? And she's like, oh, I think it shows pending. It's been like 6 months or 5 months. It's not still pending, it got lost. They didn't know who, in my opinion, they didn't know whose it was. And in my opinion, it comes from getting stuff back that I never sent to them and finding things on my sold list that are not my things, okay? So whoever had a pearl handbag that wasn't ever listed on your sold items, you're welcome, I dealt with it. It's just ludicrous, the stuff that happens. I have gotten back boxes of women's and men's size 10 shoes from designers I've never heard of as my returns, because when they don't accept something, they return it to you. I wear a size 5, size 4 on one foot for now, size 5 on another shoe, and I don't even know that brand. That's not my stuff. I received boxes of toddler clothes from Gap. My daughter is almost a teenager. I'm not selling you toddler clothes from Gap. So sometimes they'll come pick it up, and other times they've left it on my porch for weeks. So whoever it belonged to, I know for a fact they didn't have it and get their stuff back because I had it. And it's not that it happened once or twice over the years, it's happened multiple times. So it's at the discretion and honesty of the person who received it, whether you're gonna find your stuff. So that's a big problem. They have a logistics problem, in my opinion, from my experience. And the only way to monitor that is to keep a running list of everything, even if you have a consignor that comes to your home, you need to have a running list of everything you ever give them. So that's one problem, and that's one solution for it. Although it takes a lot of work, right? And again, if we're hiring a company to do something for us, we shouldn't have to babysit them. If you're listening, Real, and hopefully eventually you pay attention to all of us who are saying the same freaking thing, go on to these Chanel groups and Hermes groups, and you will see many of us have the same complaints. There are threads about these consignment companies, particularly this one, with, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what they did to me. Real life experience from other people. So you can take a look for yourself, triangulate it with what others say, if you're skeptical. And it's not just me, that's for sure. So what do when you tell them? They escalate it to consignor relations. Honestly, I don't know what the hell consignor relations is. Most of the time it's a text that gets back to me in a few days maybe, or a random email, and they're what they say doesn't make sense. So for example, they have, you'll see a picture of it up here. They still have one of my Chanel dresses mislisted as a sweater. So it's put on with you'll see it in this picture, it's put on with a white skirt and as a sweater. It's a dress, it's a mini dress. Guys, if you're listening to this video, freaking fix it. It's been months, I've been telling you. Now what's been happening? They tell me they take it offline, they tell me it's fixed, they bring it online, it's still broken. It still has a wrong photo, wrong description. In the meantime, it's aging inventory, so they're starting to discount it. But it's only aging because you have it listed wrong. That's the only reason. So that sort of stuff is infuriating. It's not in the best interest of the client, and it's negligent. And in my line of work, if I did that to my clients, I wouldn't have them anymore. But they offer a convenience that makes us, including myself, still use them. And really, I should have given them the finger a long time ago for just 2 of these mistakes, right? That they don't get their act together after. So that said, Pricing, okay? So I have had my things mispriced more times than I care to even think of. Even when, and I always recommend you do this, I got a quote ahead of time from my personal consigner, and it said, Edward says it's gonna list between 4,500 and 5,200 or whatever. It shows up on the website for $2,000, someone buys it in an instant, they got a deal, I got nothing. So in my last batch, there were 5 things listed, 3 things had this problem. So I had a request for a cropped sweater. I asked Chanel cropped sweater. I asked them what they would list it at. They said $1,525 to $2,000. They listed it for $995 and it sold instantly. So of that I would get a 7 something. And that was half the price they said that they would list it at. So of course I reached out. It will hopefully get resolved. Supposedly I'll get the money back anyway, which is what I always recommend. Have a consigner, because if you just email them, my experience is black hole. You may or may not get your money. So get the pricing ahead of time and watch what they listed at. Make sure keep them honest. Make sure that they're doing what they said they were going to do. They listed a sweater, a gray sweater, you'll see up here. They said it would be listed at $4,800 to $5,800. They listed it at $3,295. The moment I saw it listed, it was already sold. So I checked one night, it wasn't there. The morning it was showing up and sold. So $4,800 to $5,800 was their range. They sold it for $3,295. So I lost 80% of $1,500, $1,600, right? They listed a striped sweater at $2,450 with tag. So there's a pricing problem, definitely a pricing problem. I'm convinced, my opinion is that the people that get it don't actually know what they're even looking at. And there's a lot of firsthand accounts of this, people that have worked there or that have talked about it later, that they're given a certain number they have to process in a day, and it's not about perfection, it's about quantity. So we lose out when that happens. So there's a problem with that process. I know they've gotten slammed for not selling actual real goods, even though that's a part of their name. I bought one bag from them. I got it authenticated. It turned out to be authentic. And otherwise I don't buy bags from them for that reason. I'm not so sure they would take a private authentication company's word for it over their own people, but I don't know that their people have the experience. They do not know the difference between a sweater and a dress when the tag says dress. And when you look up the item number online, it shows dress. I mean, is this rocket science? Come on, give me a break. So they're what I always tell my students, what you incentivize is what you get. So what they're incentivizing, supposedly, what we read, is that they're incentivizing speed over accuracy. So that's what we're getting. I have a romper listed. You'll see it up here. They keep discounting it. They have it listed for $4,000, 30% off right now. It's not selling because the description isn't complete, in my opinion. Why don't you add what year it was? Why don't you add a description? Why don't you put the color? We have to do this on eBay, right? We fill out every field. Make it searchable in a better way than you've done. The title is not drawing anyone in. They're not looking for, new NWT romper. I mean, come on. A silk blouse that I gave them. Beautiful. I actually did a photo shoot in it. And I may just pull it back from there. You can do that, by the way. You can pull stuff back if it hasn't sold yet. So you got to catch it quick. It launched with a discount. So that you'll see it up on the screen here. $645 is what they launched it at, but the 10% off is what they launched it at. Why did you launch it before it had a chance to sell? Usually I get discounting when it's been sitting for a while, but not when it has not. Here's a couple of examples of just atrocious pricing problems. 2 Hermes jackets. Honestly, my immobility for too long of a time led to a couple of extra pounds. Okay, I'm being generous to myself. A few extra pounds on a jacket that was already really tight under the arms. So I sold 2 of them. I consigned 2 of them to the RealReal. Of course they sold the minute they hit the website, because check this out. An $8,000 Hermes jacket, leather jacket, they sold for $1,050 and 30% off. So you'll see that one here. So I got $735 for that jacket. Do you think I would have sold it? Would have given it to my neighbor? Would have given it to a friend? Sold it on eBay for $2,000? Come on. My bad. On that one, I didn't get the pricing ahead of time. That's where we go wrong. We have to do it. Another Hermes blazer, you're going to see this one up here. You can see it's still even got the buttons wrapped. Same issue with it. It's beautiful jacket. Hermes leather, $18.45 is what they listed it at. It sold immediately. Imagine that. I got $12.91 for that jacket. Those are the times that I just want to tell them a bunch of bad words. Some fingers and other things thrown in. That to me, that's not doing right by your client, right? Know the product well enough that you can at least list it properly. I mean, someone would have paid $5,000 for that. My bad. I needed to tell them. I need to get the price first, and then just not give it to them or push back on the price when they say, we're going to sell it for $1,500, you know, say something. My Louis Vuitton bag, like I said, got lost. I've had other things. What happened to such and such? Oh, you know, and this is even going back a couple of years. Oh, reappears on the site. I had a bag take so long to get listed. Someone told me in confidence, I don't know if this is true. So this is all hearsay. It's just, you know, conjecture, opinion, whatever. That they loan bags out to influencers. Say, look what I got at the Real. And that my bag, the reason it had taken so long to get put on the market is that that's what happened to it. That was from somebody that I found in a group who maybe her sister used to work there or something. And I did research it a little bit, and it looks like they do let influencers borrow stuff. I don't know if that really happened to my bag, but I know it took a couple of months for it to get listed. So if you need your money fast, you don't want to count on them. If it's a handbag, Fashion File will get your money a lot quicker. In this case, they wanted to consign it also. So I couldn't, it was sort of apples to oranges, and probably I should have given it to Fashion File. I have better luck. I have received things back, by the way, that were damaged or missing the tags. Like I sent it to them with the tag on it, or the authenticity card, which has happened before, and I got it back without it. And I have asked for a full refund because it's not nearly as valuable. I did get the refund, but you have to push it and be very aggressive, assertive, I'll say, assertive with them by email to get what is rightfully yours. Either give me the authenticity card, which I'm fine with, that's what I want, or pay for it. So that can happen, that they lose other pieces. So if you're selling things that are not designer, just some examples you'll see on the screen here. Tibby jeans, right? They sold them for $72. I got $14.40. I know they're a company and they have to make a profit. I have a small business. I need to make a profit. I'm all for people making a profit. But come on, that's it. One of your best VIP clients, Alexander Wang sweater. You'll see it up here. This lavender sweater sold for $85. I'll get $17. Here's a mistake that they made. And thankfully I had gotten the price ahead of time also on this one. The charm sweater, remember the Chanel charm? Those of you who are fans of Chanel ready to wear, I had the charms here. I had two different colors, and I decided that the pinkish lavender one I would sell because I liked other things I had more and I needed the cash for it. So what they were offering wasn't bad, and what they ended up selling it for was thousands less than they offered, what they said they would list it at. So you can see on screen, the sweater with charms was supposed to be listed for more. It was listed for $26.50 at $18.55. I could have gotten $4,000, $4,500 on the Chanel group pretty quick, which I would have done if they had given me the accurate price. So I'm still battling that one and two others to get my money, and I will get it because that's not cool. And so you need to get your prices, but then hang on to them, screenshot them, whatever you have to do, and compare it to what they listed at, because you got to keep them honest. You'll see on here the Cassie swimwear. I got $3. Okay, I mean, you know, maybe I would have gotten 20 on eBay, so it was a poor choice on my part to sell through them, but they saved me a little bit of work. But $3, come on. So that's an example of one that they say they don't accept, but they do. So you don't want to use the drop down, or else, right, that brand doesn't exist there. Thaskin's Theory. So one thing you can do is you can email them and ask them for a label. And I've done that too, or message my consignor and said I need 4 labels. And then the next, I'll send them 4 boxes of stuff and I get about 70% of it back. But check this out. The stuff that they accept are things that my consignor declined because they don't accept them. But they're on the site. They're actually for sale now. Like Intermix brand sells just fine. Theory sells just fine. I don't have any issues selling them. So you'll see this Thaskin's Theory piece. I got $2.70 for it. Okay, I mean, you know, again, I know they have expenses, but come on, you can do better than that with people who are consigning that much with you. So those are just a few examples of where they've messed up. I think the bigger concerns, I have people say, well, mostly that work there. Well, why are you worried? We have, well, actually my consigner, why are you worried? We have a log of everything. Because I just got a shipment of men's shoes that wasn't mine, and my stuff went somewhere else, and you couldn't find a Louis Vuitton bag until I told you one was missing. So what happened to it? Did it get stuck somewhere? So what happens to the stuff? I don't know. I'm worried because it happens to me. I get other people's things. Of course I'm going to be concerned, right? So what can you do? Have a personal consigner for sure. Get prices ahead of time. Track your items. Make sure nothing gets lost. Make sure that what they listed at is what they said they would list it at. If they say they don't accept something, try it anyway. Even try it a couple of times. So they have their place in the market. I believe it. Obviously, I'm still using them for some things, but and the direct deposits are 15th of every month. One thing you'll notice, I've noticed this, I don't know if it's just coincidence, but if I give them a lot of things, they put it up on the 1st of the month, right? They're probably ready, but if it sold the prior month, they wouldn't get to hold on to my money for that extra 30 days and make interest on it. That's my theory. So I see a lot of my stuff get listed on the 1st or 2nd that they've had for like a month or two. So if I were a business, I might do that. It makes sense from the business perspective, but from the client perspective, it sucks. So just keep an eye on your stuff. And that's my best advice. I'm not saying don't use them. I still use them to some degree, not as much as I used to. But be careful and know what you've given them. I used to blanketly trust them and not even keep track of things. And I know I've lost money from doing that. So that those days have ended. So I hope you find this useful. I'd love to know what your experiences are in the comments with this company, how you protect yourself, because, you know, we're going to use them. So let's find ways to make sure we don't get into trouble. And yeah, so looking forward to your comments. Thank you for watching. If you find this or any of my other videos useful, I would be honored if you would subscribe or like this video. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.